Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we're here for our last Retrospect review, and we will be talking about Season 9 Hunted. I did cover Season 9 Hunted last year, and I talked about it sometimes, and I did give a review as well, but I figured that I would just use this video to, do more of a formal review as well. So yeah, pretty much, this season was known for having two plots and two completely separate storylines that weren't really connected to each other, and these storylines only really converged in the last episode of the season. So yeah, I want to talk about both of these individually, so I'll start off with the first round plot. I feel like the first round plot definitely had some filler in the first few episodes, with nothing major happening in the first episode. And then episode 86 just being your standard, they're put to death in an arena pretty much. And episode 87 kind of showed us some dragon hunter culture, and it was a good episode, but it was filler. And then the stuff started to get interesting in episode 98 when Firstborn debuted, and so that was pretty interesting actually. So I did like that episode, but it was really a J-focused episode, I guess you could say. And it was fun to see. It was fun to see the whole escape scheme unfolding, and that was pretty cool. Also, Firstborn's rage as well. So that was really fun to see. The next few episodes are really slow though, but we do learn the major backstory of this season in episode 89, which is about the Firstborn dragon and the dragon armor, and we get to know Faith as well. Faith is a really interesting character, and I liked her throughout the season as well. So, but I do feel like episodes 90 and 91 for the first round plot are not really that good. Just nothing really happens in these episodes. It's just chases and stuff, and it felt very repetitive, honestly. However, episode 92 was a really great episode for both storylines, actually, and I'll talk about how much I love that episode later. And we pretty much do get to see Wu get his memories back, and we start to see his master side returning, so that was really fun, but he is forced to go with Iron Baron. And episode 93 is just as awesome, if not even better. And actually, what he does in that episode is it's revealed that the dragon armor actually doesn't really do anything. And I think that was a pretty decent plot twist, in my opinion. And it was pretty cool, actually. And it was fun to see Iron Baron getting fire breathed on him. But yeah, that is pretty much the conclusion. I feel like at the end of episode 93, that episode is amazing. It is my favorite episode of the season. But especially the ending in the first realm was truly magical. Just the ninja spinning through with the dragons and crossing realms. I really love that reference to the pilots, of course, and that scene with the soundtrack as well, really magical. Now, the Ninjago plot, I've talked about which plot I like better, and it is the Ninjago plot for me, and that is mostly because I feel like this had a better plot. But the first few episodes were quite boring, with nothing really happening in the first episode. The second episode, the same goes for that as well. But the return of the Elemental Masters was really fun. We hadn't seen them since 2015, so it was really fun to see the majority of the Elemental Masters returning. And I love that. Episode 87 was cool as well and gave a lot of development for Lloyd as he struggles to lead the resistance and finds his own voice. So that was really cool. However, episode 88 had pretty much nothing. And of course, the Dareth Power subplot is one of the worst things to ever come from Ninjago, with all due respect. It really is. I hate what they did with Dareth in this season. And yeah, episode 89 is the Sons of Garmadon attack, which was a pretty good scene in my opinion. And I really loved how they went from just facing Sons of Garmadon to Harumi. And of course, the head honcho himself, Lord Garmadon, and that was really cool. And episode 90 doesn't really have that much either, but we get to learn who Mistake really is, and as well as that Daughter of Darkness relationship between Emperor Garmadon and Harumi. It was really fun to see as well, and I thought that was a really interesting arc. So yeah, and then after that we have episode 91. Nothing really happens, but it is pretty much a setup for episode 92. And episode 92 is amazing. In both this realm and the first realm, it's amazing. I really love the idea of the Colossus fight. It's the first real large-scale fight that we've seen where it is a fight, but it's not your typical fight. They're just fighting to control this gigantic thing, really. And stuff happens. Harumi dies in this episode, Garmadon screams a lot, the board tower, the top is destroyed, and I think that was really cool, especially Skylar. We got to see some focus on Skylar as well. Even at the beginning of the episode, the Oni Misake fight, that was really cool, and I love the whole Infinite Darkness thing that we had seen in episode 26. Really cool, a wonderful fight, amazing episode as well. However, episode 93 doesn't really live up to episode 92. It just has some fight with Nia and Ultraviolet, which is a cool fight, don't get me wrong, but nothing really happens. But episode 94 is awesome, and we see a second confrontation between Lloyd and Garmadon, this time with Wu helping out as well. So that was really fun to watch, and of course the ending. The ending was really cool for this season, and I love the setup for it, of course, for season 10 with the Oni, and it was done perfectly. Just leaving it at a conclusion, really, for Garmadon's arc, but also introducing a greater threat, and I thought that was really cool. Overall, the season was amazing, and there were parts on both sides that I liked. However, I felt like the Iron Baron, he and Lord Garmadon were the main villains of the season, and I feel like one of the villains was significantly focused compared to the other. And Emperor Garmadon was really the main villain of this season. Iron Baron didn't really do much, and he wasn't given backstory, and I think he suffered because of that. He didn't really have clear motives either, and pretty much all he wanted was just to have power, and that's not really a convincing motive. We don't really know why he wanted power. Was it just to live like a king? That's not really convincing, and yeah, I really would have liked to see more done with this character. Just getting fire breathed on him at the end and just calling it quits for his character. Yeah, he is a really evil character, and he was developed in that way. But other than that, we don't know his motives or anything. On the other hand, Garmadon in this season was amazing. I didn't really like him in season 8. His voice was really deep. He didn't really know anything, but it made sense. He was just revived from the dead. So yeah, and he gains control in this season, particularly after he kills Mr. E. In my eyes, he really gains control, and he starts to be very cruel. And I think Garmadon throughout the season and how he develops is amazing. And how he's scared of the Oni and he fights to protect the realm from the Oni, or just save himself, really. I think that is really amazing. Furumi's death was also something that was necessary as well. Don't really know where they would have gone with her character as well. Other than that. And I think it was a pretty good scene. And people complain about Mr. E dying. I agree he was a wasted character, but in the end, Mr. E dying was really an event to make Garmadon have more control and develop Garmadon that way. And in that sense, I think that they definitely did really well with that. So yeah, I really liked what they did with the villains. And yeah. So on the first realm side of things, we also had Faith, who was a really interesting character. And I liked it. I liked Faith. She was really cool. Not really too fond of the love interest between Wu and Faith. And that is debatable, but, thankfully it doesn't really happen in the end. But yeah. Mistake is also a bit weird. She's just this random tea lady, but suddenly she's an Oni? Okay then, somehow it works, but it's not really that convincing. Wu's arc in this season was also amazing. It was the arc that was set up in Season 7, and really just continued in this season, and I really loved seeing him become the Golden Dragon Master, and I thought that this was an amazing arc for him. And yeah, I really loved everything that they did with Wu's character, and Lloyd's character as well. I thought that Lloyd's character was developed quite a bit in this season, and it was pretty good for the most part. And yeah, that is really all I have to say about the season. It was a really good season for the most part. I did like the Ninjago plot more, and I've made a separate video on that a while back, so if you want to go watch that, you can. But yeah, I really did like this season. It is my third favorite Ninjago season. It was a great follow-up to Sons of Garmadon, and, a great predecessor to March of the Oni as well. It concluded things, but it left things open-ended as well. So I would probably have to give this season a 9 out of 10. So yeah, thanks for watching this retrospect review. We've been doing these retrospect reviews since November, and wow, we're finally done with them. So yeah, I'll just stick to making normal videos on Saturday in the future. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching these retrospect reviews. I really enjoyed making these videos, and I hope you enjoyed watching them as much. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone ever you know, and I will see you next time.